Welcome back in. There's a lot going on around the holidays, and for some that can be pretty stressful, probably if you're watching this. This afternoon we have Siva Yechoor, a psychiatrist with the Toledo Clinic, with some things to keep in mind if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by it all. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Melissa, for having me.
I think this is a topic everybody knows something about, whether they know someone who's stressed, they're feeling stress, or someone is causing you stress during the holidays, which is very common. How do we stay healthy this time of year, physically and mentally, do you think?
Well, that's a great question, because stress is obviously something that we deal with on a daily basis. And these are times that are, as I think it was Dickens who put it as, these are the best of times and these are the worst of times. Stress is always there. And I say, like, for dealing with stress, you really have to look at the other part of it, that's our resilience. We're all very resilient people. And that's why we do what we do. So stay back with your resilience. And I have this way of saying that there are about 8 ways that you could do it, and it would be like alphabetical, A, B, C, D, E. A is accept it. You have to accept
that it's going to be stressful this time.
Absolutely. And B is be yourself, be mindful. Don't have to be somebody else. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself. And C is that care for yourself. Physically, make sure that you get enough sleep, make sure that you stay hydrated. And de-stressors, that's what I say, the Ds. We actually call them distractors, exercise. That's something that you could always do. And music. Do these as far as you can, and breathing techniques are the third thing we stress.
Or whatever makes you happy. I find I love to take baths. That's like my therapy for some reason. Everybody has their own thing. But you know, I had 2 friends, interestingly, text me this week. Both are about my age, going through similar, you know, kid stuff, same age, whatever. And they both said they were feeling that they were extroverting too much. They needed to introvert a little. And I would suspect that happens a lot during the holidays. There's a lot of entertaining, meeting new people, company parties, relatives you haven't seen. So what do you suggest, you know, if someone is feeling overwhelmed, almost like there's been too much communication, too much talking, you know, you got to kind of perform during the holidays a little, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to put on a mask and a facade. The thing is to be absolutely set boundaries. And you have to set boundaries for everything that you can do. You can't do everything. So prioritize, set some boundaries. And I think the key element is that always the positive aspects, just stress on the positive aspects. Look at it this way. This is a time for kindness, gratitude, and just being thankful. And I think if we stress on that, kindness is something that we all have to do.
Be kind to yourself too, right?
Absolutely, that's the first
And I think
step.
too, if you're one of these moms or grandmas who you do all the cooking and all the gift giving, and it's okay to ask your partner to take on a little piece of that or to delegate that, right?
Absolutely. You have to, one of the hardest things to say is no, and you have to learn to say no.
You do.
Because again, you take on too much, you're going to be stressed out.
I want to talk to you about this because I think it affects a lot of people, and that is that family member who you just gotta see them, and there may be an unresolved conflict, uncomfortable dynamic. Maybe there's a negativity. You know, we interviewed this group yesterday that helps widows who are down during the holidays. Maybe people react negatively to the holidays because, you know, there's a history with them in the holidays. So it can create, these happy times can create some uncomfortable times. How do we deal with that one person who we just got to kind of get through it?
Right. And again, there are no universal rules for it. You got to take it as they come. But the key is, again, I would stress the fact, like, these are stress on the positive experiences you had about everybody. And and we talked about boundaries, set some, like, a good way is like these topics are off for this now, like no politics, nothing to do with other issues which are controversial for themselves. And again, one of the greatest things that we humans have is humor. So bring in humor. We're not talking about jokes, I mean, humor, especially self-deprecating stuff, which would bring in people to be more joyous.
Hopefully it's just for a couple of hours or a day or two, so we can get through that, right?
And we can enjoy it. Remember, it's just for enjoyment. Joy is the key word.
Yes, don't remember the joy, include the joy. People can get a hold of you at toledoclinic.com, is that right?
That is correct.
And there's your phone number, 567-455-5906. So reach out if you're dealing with some stress. We want everybody to be joyful this holiday season. No reason that this stress should take that away.
Absolutely, and thank you
All
very
right,
much.
appreciate it.